House Bill 6017, a bill to be entitled An Act Relating to Recovery of Damages for Medical Negligence Resulting in Death.
The Senator of the 4th District, Senator Yarborough, you're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had discussion on this yesterday, and I've already done more of an explanation on the bill. Just simply, this bill repeals Statute 768.218 and would allow the narrow group of survivors I described to recover non-economic damages. That is the bill.
Are there amendments?
None on the desk, Mr. President.
Are there questions of the bill? Senator of the 4th District, Senator Yarborough moves the bill be read a third time. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying yea. All those opposed, show the motion carries. Please read the bill a third time.
House Bill 6017, a bill to be entitled An Act Relating to Recovery of Damages for Medical Negligence Resulting in Death.
Mr. Debate. Senator Harrell.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I debated this bill yesterday when we talked about the amendment on caps. And this bill now does not have caps in it. And I can tell you that this is going to have a devastating impact on medical malpractice premiums, both for hospitals and for providers. And yesterday I referred to the need for more providers in the state of Florida. And when I look at where we are today, we already have a tremendous shortfall in primary care, and that includes family medicine, internal medicine, OBGYN, pediatrics, ER. And by 2035, we're going to have the need for over 7,872 additional practitioners. Then you look at specialty care. This is even more devastating. And that is where so many, well, other than OBGYN, in the primary care range, but when you talk about surgeons, general surgeons, neurosurgeons, things of that sort, we're going to have a deficit of over 10,000 physicians. Without caps in this legislation, I can tell you, we are going to have a huge increase in medical malpractice. And in addition, we are going to have physicians not coming to the state of Florida. We are already have the highest med mal premiums in the entire state of Florida. And when I look across the country and I look at the premiums that individuals, hospitals, and practitioners are paying in the state of Florida, as I said yesterday, just in Miami alone, it costs for a general surgeon $243,000 for $1 million of coverage in med mal. That's going to increase even more. OBGYN, $243,000 for $10,000. When you look at other states that do have caps, and we think about California as being one of the is the largest state. We would think of it as very litigious, but it is not. They do not have this type of cap. They do have caps in California, and they do have other restrictions. For general surgery, for instance, their med mal is $41,000 versus $243,000. So we are going to create even more of a problem in the state of Florida. And this bill got very contentious. I can tell you it was very distressing to me. And I heard all the stories. I wanted to vote for this. I wanted for individuals to be able to get economic damages and have a limit on what the non-economic damages would be, so that we could also make sure we have physicians and hospitals in the state of Florida. But unfortunately, we no longer have that cap on the bill. And I can tell you this has become very difficult for me personally. I am getting personal attacks on it because of my stand. There is now a billboard in front of my neighborhood saying Senator Gail Harrell supports profits over people. And there is a double billboard right now in front of North River Shores attacking me because of my stand on this bill. And I can tell you that is very devastating to anyone in a political situation where they think Gail Harrell puts profits over people. I do not. I cannot vote for this bill. I want to vote for this bill. I really want to vote for this bill, but I cannot.
Senator Burgess in debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just very, very, very briefly, not even on the policy, just an opportunity to thank Senator Yarborough. I can't imagine the night you had in trying to figure out what you were going to do coming to today, and just building off of what I said. Thank you for bringing an issue like this forward. As Senator Harrell illustrated, it is not an easy issue to bring all this way. It's been years in the making. I'm grateful to you. I appreciate you. And no matter where somebody lands on this issue, I think we all know the hard work you put into this moment, and our hats are off to you.
Senator Pizzo in debate.
Briefly, Mr. President, I wasn't going to debate, but I don't take kindly to personal attacks. So for those of you out there or here who have anything to do, any sway or influence over personal attacks against Gail Harrell, and I think I've earned some bit of trust from a lot of people, I want you to hear me now. Nobody has done more to provide access to health care than Gail Harrell. So if you know the person who put up the billboard, I'm not affecting anyone's First Amendment rights, but you can tell them that Jason Pizzo won't like them when he finds out who they are. Do you hear me? Because no one has done more for access to health care than this woman. But here's the reality. We're talking about numbers. If this was going to represent even 10%, 15%, 30% of outstanding cases, this would necessitate a long conversation. I want to thank President Pasadomo, President Albritton, but really to Senator Yarborough, who just has done incredible work just getting it to this place to pass it clean. And I don't mean to discount the lives and the value of your family's lives, but as it relates to the overall number of cases that are filed from a civil perspective, it's a de minimis number in the volume of cases that would be filed. As it relates to rates, we need to do more. We need to do more to help. Those are the professions we should be bending over backward to try to help. But as we found over the last few years, we haven't done a lot to help even Florida families, much less medical malpractice rates or property insurance or any of those things. We have a lot of work to do. I'm excited for the future. But right now we're talking about a small group of individuals, and this is a very good bill to bring them justice.
Additional debate. Senator Jones in debate.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. And I follow Senator Pizzo, and I wasn't going to debate, but I do want to follow off from what Senator Burgess just made mention of. Outside of the policy, Mr. President, and to senators, and there's to Senator Yarborough, who carried this bill with such grace, and I can only imagine the amount of pressure that you had yesterday, Senator Yarborough. But I just want to personally thank you for your integrity and how you move in these chambers, and knowing that this is a difficult fight for some people and many of us in this room, but how you have handled this makes it easier for us to either vote yes or no, and you know that's not a personal attack towards you. I am a yes on this, but I just personally want to tell you thank you for being a man of integrity that you are. Thank you, sir.
Additional debate. Senator Osgood.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Senator Yarborough, thank you. You have been battling with this bill for a number of years, and you just operate with so much grace. It is just an honor to know you as my brother in the way that you move forward with your bill. I am a yes on this bill and have been a yes and would have been a no with caps. But I respect Senator Harrell. And when we come to this space as public servants, it's a big sacrifice. We are human. And just because we have a different perspective, it doesn't mean that it's just free game that you could say and do anything. We have children, we have grandchildren, we have to go back home to our communities, and to have cowards take shots at any members of this Senate in a very cowardly way for practicing democracy and having their own individual perspective. Senators, it is our collective diversity that make us so great as the Florida Senate. I hate when people go after people publicly, especially in a cowardly way. I've gone through it. You have to explain it to your kids and your grandkids. And sometimes if you have sons whose arms are big as my legs, you have to really do a lot of praying that they don't respond in a way to protect their family member. So as we take our vote on this bill, I want to say out loud to Senator Yarborough, I don't always agree with you, but I love you. Senator Harrell, I want to say to you, we don't always agree, but I love you. And I respect you. and what you've modeled for me being a young female legislator in the Florida Senate. So you continue to move forward and you continue to stand up for what's right, because there is a power that knows who's doing right and who's doing wrong. And some battles you don't even have to fight. There's another force that will take care of them.
Senator Smith in debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I too want to join the train of applause for you, good sir, Senator Yarborough. We don't always agree on everything, but when you get it right, boy, do you get it right. And you've gotten it right with this bill that we have right in front of us. You are a friend, a colleague, a friendly neighbor, at least here temporarily in Tallahassee while we've been here this session. Senators, we have a good bill in front of us. We have a clean bill, no caps, because you can't put a price on a life. The victims and the families of wrongful death due to medical malpractice deserve this bill. And thank you for bringing it to the Senate floor. I applaud you, sir.
Additional debate. Senator Sharif in debate.
I just wanted to say to Senator Yarborough, thank you for being so willing to work with us. I think you were probably the only Republican legislature that calls me at 10 o'clock at night about a question and answers it fully with notes and waits for me to write mine. And I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. It's my first time here. And I have to tell you, to that lady in red over there, Senator Harrell, I'm going to say it again. Every time you put something forth, it's fair. It makes sense to me. I wish I'd put it forth myself. And I told you yesterday, day before yesterday, I wanted to dance. Mama, I want to dance again, because whoever put that up, I'm going to dance all over them in my bad way. And I know Senator Osgood's laughing because I probably look like I'm having a convulsion, but I love you. You had me at hello. And every time you bring something forward, it is just with such thought and compassion and such a good spirit and a good nature that makes me feel good about being here. I'm proud to work with you. I'm proud to serve with you in the Florida Senate. And I think that that is the sentiment here in this body. And so you don't ever have to worry about a billboard, because you got me. And if that fails, you got Dr. Osgood. I mean, so anyway, thank you so much, Senator Yarborough, for this good bill. Happy to support.
Leader Boyd in debate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Yarborough, that you have taken a emotional and very complicated topic and handled it with style, grace, and skill, and you're so very good at that. So thank you for taking on such a tough subject and bringing it to this conclusion today. And to Senator Harrell, others have said it already. It is not fair. It is not right. You, as Senator Pizzo said, are one of the most caring, compassionate senators in this chamber that we know, in terms of kids with disabilities, people with disabilities, adults, just anybody. There's nobody more caring than you. An attack on you is an attack on us. Anybody from St. Augustine or anywhere else in Florida that would put up a sign like that ought to think twice about it. It is not fair, it is not right, and it can't be tolerated.
Senator Bernard in debate.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Senator Yarborough, thank you very much for working so hard on this bill. I know the past 48 hours have been very difficult for you, but you've navigated this bill gracefully. Just want to thank the families who are here. I spoke to a mom earlier this morning, and she wasn't planning on being here overnight, but she stayed overnight with her son to be here, and you're giving her and her family the opportunity to have this bill being heard and being passed. So thank you very much.
Additional debate. Senator Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll start with Senator Harrell. I understand how you feel, Senator Harrell. We can see it all over your face, because what I said yesterday was something that I felt when I stood on this floor and said, I perhaps believe in caps. And from that point, there's no billboard that appears in Duval. And so I'm gonna look around this room. I'm gonna talk to the general public. No billboard should appear in Duval. No billboard should have appeared in your neighborhood, because no one has the ability and should ever feel like, because we take a stance, we now need to be bullied to change our stance. So I'm right there with you. But I had to make that point loud and clear. We are not to be bullied because we take a stance or we vote differently from how folks think we should vote. So this chamber apologizes for that. And I know Senator Pizzo said what he said, but understand that we all stand with you. To Senator Yarborough, I woke up this morning with Senator Yarborough on my mind and in my spirit.
Sorry about that. Was it a nightmare?
Nope. No, we will not.
Jordan, it's okay. I'm going to explain it. My colleagues, our colleagues. But I woke up this morning and I did. He was on my mind, he fell in my spirit, and I sent him a text message. And I'm going to read what I sent, you dirty people. I said to him, yesterday was a tough day, but you're tougher. I said, God made you in his image. Today, allow God to take control and his will be done. And here we are. And here we are. I will end with this. I am so serious about outsiders and the bullying inside this chamber. And I will vote for this today, as I have stated, simply because the caps are too low. I said it yesterday, I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again. I will support this today. I will support this in this state today. But I'm simply supporting it because the caps are too low.
Additional debate. Senator Burton in debate.
Thank you, Mr. President. And to my good friend, Senator Yarborough, you and I have discussed this bill for, it feels like, many sessions now. And I think if you know my heart, you know that it's been tossed and turned. I've been yes, I've been no. I believe absolutely that the families should have recourse. I believe they should have recourse. I, like Senator Harrell, very concerned about medical malpractice rates here in the state of Florida. I was going to say something nice about Senator Pizzo. I was actually appreciated Senator Pizzo's comments yesterday and even today about the potentially de minimis, number of cases that this will actually involve moving forward, regardless of if the bill has caps or doesn't have caps, right? But without caps. So, I'm going to vote today. And I wish sometimes we vote on a bill that we don't think is really perfect, that we have concerns about. But we have to weigh what is the bigger issue here? What is more important here? And there are things I wish we could do differently than we're able to do today in this bill. And if I could just take a moment to, Senator Harrell started us off on a conversation about, quite frankly, the impact that the positions we take, the votes we take, the things we say have on our lives. And other people have talked about the impact it has on others, and how the perception of what we do here in this chamber is often ill-perceived by people who are not working with us day to day and not part of all these conversations and don't have all the facts that you have in front of you as well. And we've had a lot of time over the last couple of days where people have introduced their interns, their aides, and I think I'm not the only office whose aide has been bullied. Today in this Capitol, my aide was bullied in an elevator on this issue because somebody does not know me, does not know my heart, doesn't know any of us. And that's the price that we take on willingly. We take on willingly, but you take on, when you decide to take on an issue like this, you're taking on the world, right? Because there are some people very happy, some people very unhappy, some people kind of think we're doing the right thing. So I thank you. I trust you. I know where your heart is on this issue. And I told you yesterday that I will stand with you, and I will stand with you. Thank you.
Additional debate. Senator Yarborough, you're recognized to close on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tracy, this is your fault. Just kidding. I'm trying to keep it together. Thank you for thinking about me, though, when you woke up this morning. Sorry, I got to break the tension a little bit. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sorry. First, I wanted to start with, I'm really just going to make the close about some thank yous, Mr. President, members, but I do want to address what Senator Harrell's brought up, and I think all the thrust of it has been said, but you showed me that text this morning with the billboard, and frankly, I think it's sick. I think it's cowardly, it's immature. I'm sorry. I think all of us, including me, if not all of us, and I think most of us, know what it's like to go to your own mailbox and pull out a mailer, during a campaign, and there you are all over it. And it wasn't from your campaign; it was from somebody else, another campaign or PC or whoever. But there's no excuse for that, and I'm sorry. I don't know who did it. We could suppose. I don't know who did it, but it's cowardly and it's not Christ-like. So I'm sorry. Senators, I wanted to thank you for your engagement on this. Thank you for all the kind comments. I'll do as I did yesterday. I'll give thanks to the Lord for it. He gets all the credit for any good we can do. So I thank you for your engagement. I do want to thank Tom Sabula, best staff director for Judiciary that we could have. Thank you, Tom. Nathan Bond from the Judiciary Suite, and we have others in there too. Lauren, thank you for your help. Lauren Jones from the President's Office. Y'all have been on this roller coaster too as we've tried to figure it out. So thank you very much for that. And thank you to the Senate President. I know he's in meetings working on some important things for us. So I wanted to thank him too. And to the families, who I know there are some here with us today, and they have been part of this for quite some time. And I learned about this in a Duval County legislative delegation meeting back when I was serving in the House. I think it had to be maybe 6 years ago, something like that, and didn't even know about it. And I heard about it. We had maybe 3 or 4 individuals who came during the public hearing ahead of committee weeks and talked about this issue, and I'd never heard of it, didn't have any reason to know about it, and that's when the interest started to take root a little bit. And all that time back, I didn't have a family member. My mom now actually falls into this category, but that wasn't the case a few years ago. So then it became, more of a personal impact. And I've realized since then, since hearing the stories every year and since deciding to work on this a couple of years ago, of how many people are actually impacted by this and how far-reaching this goes, even though you really wouldn't have a reason to think about it if you didn't know somebody or were related to somebody who was in that category, or the family that would be impacted by it, rather. So I want to say thank you to them. Thank you for this. This is a 35-year-old law. It needs to be repealed. It's unjust. It shouldn't be on the books. I totally get the need for balance, as I said yesterday, and was willing to put that amendment in front of everybody. I thought that would bring some balance to the equation, but I still believe this is the right thing to do the repeal, to send it on out of the Senate, and that it's the right thing to do. So again, let me say thanks to the families. Thanks for your advocacy on this. And I do believe we're doing the right thing today. And again, we'll give the Lord all the praise for any good and ask for your favorable support. Thank you.
Secretary will unlock the board, and senators will proceed to vote. Have all senators voted? Secretary will lock the board and record the vote.
33 yeas, 4 nays, Mr. President.
Show the bill passes.